This week in comic book, DC has got me excited about some of these great characters they're coming out with. I want to share a few with you. In the lands of Marvel, we got Bishop, War College, and how it's an ode to whiners and lazy people. And in the land of Independence, I got two Independents that I want to share with you and kind of tell you about a little bit. But first, if you could just indulge me, let me try to save you some coffee real quick. Hey weirdos, do you ever find it hard to get going in the morning? Do you need a swift kick in the butt to get your day started? I find a good cup of coffee helps me supercharge my evil genius ways and motivates my villainy. Coffee Brand Coffee is the perfect start to my dastardly day. They offer multiple roast and flavors, teas and cocos, while you sit by the fire and watch all your enemies burn. Go to Coffee Brand Coffee today and use promo code POCANJOE and save 10%. Coffee Brand Coffee. No gimmicks, just coffee. So yeah, just check out Coffee Brand Coffee. Just check the site. Make sure you check out the reviews. Make sure it's everything that you want. And definitely use promo code POCANJOE. So let's jump into this week, you wonderful weirdos. I got some books. All right, we're going to jump off and we're going to start with Lazarus Planet Next Evolution. So in this, again, we're kind of doing this kind of introduction to new characters and bringing back some characters. So first, in this one, we get the Team Vigil. This is three-person team. One's a shapeshifter, one has electrical powers, and one's like a La Femme Nikita type character, flipping around doing ninja stuff. Super cool. I really enjoyed this. This was our introduction to them. I'm kind of on board. I want some more of that. We also learned more about Flatline. We met her back in Robin 1 or Batman 1038. Depends if you believe cameos are first appearances or not. But I don't know how it works. It's just kind of a made-up thing as far as I can tell. But her first appearance was in one of those two books, however you want to see it. We kind of get her, and she kind of resurrects Ra's al Ghul in here. Remember, we're dealing with Lazarus, so you know he was going to be making a comeback at some point. So he's, bam, back into this. And we also get a story about this new character, Red Canary, and she's working with Sideways in this, who I'm really glad that DC's bringing back into their book as well. So you got chock full of stories in here, and all of them were legitimately good. I was surprised by this, because normally when I read these kind of books, you know, there's that one you're just like, oh, you had to go that route. But all these were super enjoyable. DC's really stepping up their game in the Lazarus Pit. If you haven't picked any of these up, all these Lazarus somethings or others number ones have all been introductions to new characters and new storylines, and the art's been great in it. So right up off the bat, pick of the week, right here, blasting it first right out, plus that cover right there. Like, I stopped cover buying, right, like multiple covers of things, but I'm super happy I got that one. Next, we're going to jump into Batman and Joker, the Deadly Duo. So we have a mysterious character still, and we get a flashback right up off the beginning of a wedding that the Joker kind of ruined. He shot the husband, or well, it wasn't even a husband yet. It wasn't done yet, right? The fiance, I guess. I don't know. So then we jump into current time, right? What's going on right now after we get these kind of flashbacks throughout the story about this wedding and what happened at it and how the Joker just ruined it. And Batman, of course, shows up to this as well. Again, ruining. I think, again, spoiler alert, just warning. I'll let you know when it's safe to come back on. I think it's the widow, if you will. I think it's her. I think we got a female character, which kind of throws this story off a little bit if you've been using a male voice as the narrative, you know, in this. But it should be interesting. So it's safe to come back now. But in this one, apparently this person likes their games just like any gimmicky villain does. And on this one, the task that the Joker and Batman have to do is they're on a train and that's full of people, and they have to get the train to equal to its empty weight, meaning no people in it, right? So, right, two options, right? You throw things off the train or you kick people off the train. What's worse is when you do both. So obviously the Joker has his little plan of throwing off the heaviest people while we throw things off and burn the train as it's going to its destination. This is a tasking they have to get done, or otherwise everybody dies, you know, the usual scenario. I like seeing Joker and Batman with two conflicting ideas to equal the same goal, right? It just kind of reaffirms that there's more than one way to skin a cat. In this one, they really kind of push that narrative they move to the extreme. Also, we get Nightwing and Catwoman in this one going on like a separate mission to get some information. They got to steal some data from a major computer science woo-woo technology center to kind of help progress this case along a little bit to find out who this mysterious person is that has Harley Quinn trapped. And what is his, or we don't know if it's him or her, right? We done covered that. So this person's game with her, like, well, what's the goal here? Keeping Harley Quinn locked up. It's funny. It's original story, I think. Yeah, there's some tropey stuff in it, but I really like this version of these two characters working together and then incorporating other characters too, with this kind of mystery behind it. Very enjoyable read. If I didn't get Lazarus Pit, this issue would have been my pick of the week. All right, so I said in the beginning, I know a lot of you are this current run of X-Men fans out there, and God bless you. I'm unfortunately on the opposite side, and this kind of solidifies why I am. So in this one, Bishop is kind of taking a drill sergeant type role in this war college on Krakoa, their mutant fantasy island, and he's trying to get these young people ready for, the worst case scenario, the big war, which Bishop has a lot of experience in. Remember, if we're talking about a character who's been consistently in war, right, through his time travels and everything else, if you know anything about his past. So yeah, he's going to be a little rough around the edges and a little demanding from people. In this one, the kids are like, hey, you're going too hard. This is too much, tears, tears, tears. So we call it private talk in the Army, right? Oh, the private's talking again. It's too much. Like, we get it. Is there a limit? I would think that the instructor would know that. That's why they're their instructor, or in this case, the war chieftains of Krakoa Island. That just annoyed me, right? So then I'm getting this kind of sense that he's going to come back and be a kinder, gentler person. Not the case. Stryker's two mutant kids attack Krakoa, and of course, it's on a training mission with the kids there. They're kind of stuck in a time loop because they thought it was going to be their last day, but haha, the drill sergeant outsmarted the privates again. We'll just loop a time portal there. And this ultimately, with the mutie kids there, and Stryker's attack, his children attacking there, kind of something happens with a magical device. They don't really explain why this thing happened. It just happened. I'm assuming you have to read something else for it to make sense. Yada, yada, yada. But we'll just say magic technical woo-woo happens, sending Bishop into the past. Luckily, it was the 90s. The 90s X-Men run where Xavier had died, and you kind of got Cyclops there. So why the time travel? Why the hard case? The story's kind of bouncing all over the place. It doesn't seem very linear to me. And that's not to say that that's a good or a bad thing. If it's done correctly by the writer, that can be a very enjoyable experience. But in this one, I didn't like it. It seemed like the whining was happening for no reason. The temporal seconds counting down was just a thing, I guess. And then the politics behind everything just made it, I don't know, almost unbearable to me. It just seemed like a bunch of whining for no reason. A bunch of training for something that I don't know. Apparently there's a war coming, according to Bishop. And then sending him into the past through magical woo-woo thing. I don't know. I just cannot get behind this. Again, God bless everybody out there that loves this X-Men run and you're diving into it. Please do not let anything I review be any type of judgment or slight against you. That is not the point of this. This is just what I'm picking up and reading, and that's how I viewed it. I'm sorry. So next we got Red Goblin. Because we can't get enough goblins in Amazing Spider-Man stories. Like, it is just, like, we got Gold Goblin, Green Goblin, Hobgoblin. One character was this character, but he was actually a goblin, and it's all focused around the Osborn family. Well, we got a new goblin now. And as predicted, it's Normie, right? The youngest Osborn now, if you will. And he's got his own symbiote too, because Dylan Brock, son of Eddie Brock, he's got a symbiote too. They were buddies. I remember that one. Was it the Good Son run? It was right around that time. We kind of hinted at him getting his own symbiote. So he's got one now, and it's kind of like a newborn puppy. It doesn't know if it's bad or good. And it's like a child inside of a child, a child's inner voice, I guess, if you will. And it seems to be kind of like, I want everything now, kind of a stubborn child. I just don't care at this point. Like, it's so much symbiote, so much, like, just everything. It's I don't know. It just seems like a rehashing, right? And of course, we got Osborn Sr. in here, and he's just, again, with the clinic and trying to figure out how to be a good guy because it's so hard to be, good. I think he needs to focus on just being normal, but that would make an interesting comic book. All right, next. Something I read from Marvel that I actually enjoyed. I'm enjoying Joe Fixit. This is fun. Mostly because I kind of like casinos. I kind of like the whole Vegas scene. Especially older Vegas, that kind of style to it where everybody wore suits and you got Dean Martin, right? That whole kind of thing. This kind of touches in that too because King Ben comes back after getting it whipped up on him by old Joe Fixit there. He comes back, picks another fight, gives him magical chemical gas that makes Joe Fixit lose his mind and become a savage. So now Spider-Man's got to deal with that inside the casino. Simple story, right there in your face. Great one-liners in it. Great homages to things that you can be nostalgic about, even if you weren't alive during that time. Like, just saying Frank Sinatra and Dean Martin strikes up visions in your head. And in a casino in Vegas and the whole 9 yards, it really does kind of put you into the story and gives you the circumstances of the environment around you. It does a very good job of that. Next, we got Ghost Rider number 11. So this is it was speculated. I don't know why people speculate. Anyway, so it was speculated that we're going to get the Danny Ketch character coming back into the Ghost Rider scene. Now that we have Johnny Blaze coming off the Blackheart thing, we're seeing the effects. Didn't happen, right? And this is just basically the two new team up here that we got going on with Johnny Blaze and Goth Girl, right? It was like Goth Girl and Emo Boy traveling throughout the U.S., fighting demons and all this other mess. And it didn't really harp on the fighting of the demons things. They were like just passive things in the story. Mostly it was about their relationship and how they interact and how emo Johnny Blaze is overall. And he had... and like most of the time when you get into a relationship, you got to give up the motorcycle. So his evil motorcycle, he had to bury it in here because it's just evil and it doesn't like the girl. Whatever that means. All right, next. My independence this week. We got Monarch. So I read this. This is good. So think Harry Potter, right? African-American Harry Potter in Compton, and take away wizardry and add sci-fi space alien stuff. I'm on board with that. Cool, like a rougher version of it. I really like this. We got nerdy kid. He has to live with the foster parents. Something happened to his parents. It doesn't really explain to us yet why. They kind of hinted to some things, but I don't want to speculate on it. He gets bullied at school. Kid's like, oh, bully. Like, kid's strapping a 9 in middle school. That's gangster. Like, I'm just saying, that's rough. But in this, an alien invasion comes. It's been several days. They've been cooped up in a school. Our young hero goes out to try to get something. Bully shows up, wants to drop that body. Aliens end up interjecting and taking our hero kid, our hero of the story, up into the spaceship, maybe to do some alien woo-woo stuff. I don't know. Let's find out. So as long as this is coming to the comic book shop, I'll be picking this up. This was a solid read. I enjoyed that. Next, Howler. Howler's a predictable story. So we get a town that has a secret. It's that thing. Right? And we got kids that want to go off and party. We got kind of a focal group of teenagers. Everybody thinks this thing's an urban legend or just something, but the parents know what's really up. But for some reason, the kids still are able to go out and party and stuff like that. It's resurrected. It starts dropping bodies pretty soon into the story. It's really cool in the aspect of you could see this being like a short film or something on YouTube or something along those lines. But as far as reading a long story of this, I don't know how many issues this is. My guess would be 5, because if it's any more than that, it's just a lot of conjecture at that point. But for the most part, it was enjoyable, but predictable. So that's my haul for this week. This one's going to be relatively short. So definitely let me know down below what you think. If you hadn't had an opportunity yet, definitely consider subscribing, maybe even liking this video and sharing it with some of your friends out there. I'd greatly appreciate that. And we got an Evil Layer build over at my Evil Layer channel. We'll be bringing that out. We're going to make something very special for somebody in the comic book community. So if you haven't had a chance to check that out, all my links are down below. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.